Hello and welcome. This is a tutorial of the basics of Applied Energistics 2, and it should help you start off the mod. So thank you for watching and I hope you enjoy.
Hello and welcome to an Applied Energistics 2 tutorial. Today I'm going to be going over the basics of Applied Energistics 2, and I have a follow-up video for more complex things you can do with Applied Energistics 2. In this video I'm going to feature recipes from the FTB Infinity mod pack. So if you're in a different mod pack or you're just going from the base mod, some recipes might be slightly different, but the core concepts will be completely the same. We're going to start off here with your main resources to start out with Applied Energistics 2. You have Certus Quartz and Charged Certus Quartz, which can be found anywhere underground, and this is what they look like. The first thing you're going to want to make with Applied Energistics 2 is a quartz grindstone, which if you take any ore and put in the grindstone, and you have to hit right click on the crank 3 times, maybe more, has to make 3 full revolutions, I believe is what it was, unless this has been changed for FTB Infinity. There you go. And it'll make 2 dust, depending on what mods you've got installed is what dust you'll get. But Applied Energistics does not add any of its own dust except for iron and other base ores. To make the quartz grindstone, you'll need 3 pieces of vanilla stone, 3 Certus quartz crystals, and 2 cobblestone. To make the crank, you'll need 5 sticks in this shape. And to make the wood gear and the recipe before, you'll need 4 sticks in this diamond shape. Then you get your quartz grindstone, put any ores in it, and it's an easy way to double your ores early game. Now, that's not really essential to the rest of the mod, because other mods such as thermal expansion can do pulverization for you, or maceration, so this isn't really an essential part. Next, you want to go out into the wilderness and find meteorites. Unfortunately, in a flat world, they don't actually spawn, so I couldn't show you one properly, but this is what it would be made of. It'll have a large impact site where everything's crushed. The hardness of skystone is incredibly high. You see, even with a manually hammer, it takes a long time to mine. I would advise very high-end pickaxe if you can get to that point by now, such as the practicalities imbued tool makes light work of skystone. And inside you'll find a skystone chest, which will have at least 1 inscriber press, but because it's a tutorial, yeah, I'll put all of them in there. To find meteorites, you may want to make a meteorite compass, which is a charged Certus quartz and 4 iron. Ooh, got an achievement. Now, when you're in the same chunk as any skystone, raw skystone, as it can be smelted into smooth skystone, the compass will just spin continuously. But if I bring up my chunk borders, as you see, if I go into another chunk, it will face towards the one of the corners of the chunk, usually, or directly towards the skystone. And if you keep moving chunks, as soon as I go into the same chunk, it will start spinning. This also works as it's in your inventory, so you move it anywhere in your inventory and it will point towards the skystone. If you cannot find charged Certus quartz in the wild, I assume, you can get a charger, which is made with 2 fluix crystals, which I'll demonstrate how to make soon, and 5 pieces of iron. It needs a power source. It's powered from either the top or the bottom. It can be powered with RF and EU, as far as I know. I'm not sure about MJ or any of the older power supplies. Or it can be powered directly with AE. As you see, I've got a creative energy cylinder here. Each crystal you put into this machine takes 3000 RF to become charged. It is a random interval of how long it takes to charge, but it's not usually that long. and you can use things such as the extra utilities transfer nodes to put in and out items, or you can just right click with your hand. And there's a load of compasses in there. To make the flux crystals I demonstrated a minute ago, you'll need nether quartz or charged certus quartz again, and redstone, and you just drop them into some water. Ooh, didn't mean to fall in. So if you drop all 3 stacks in there, and you wait for a moment, you'll see that they start to split into flux. You jump in and pick them up, and you get 2 flux for every 1 nether quartz, certus quartz, or no, certus quartz and redstone. We'll start to go night time. There we go, so you can see. Next, you'll need to use your inscriber. With the why have I got more presses in here? With the inscriber, you can duplicate your presses with 1 block of iron in the middle, and your inscriber press in either the top or the bottom. When it has power, it will slowly do its percentage going up as it's doing its task, and then it will duplicate your press. And this is very helpful if you're on a server or you want to make a large inscriber setup where you can make lots of processors, which are in here, quite quickly. Now, to make circuits, which are the base components to making processors, you need either pure certus quartz crystals, diamonds, gold, and you'll always need silicon. These acceleration cards I will not show in this video how to make. If you have any eye, you can easily search up how to make them, but this will not be featured in this video, and they just speed up the process of making things. So you always need silicon, and you get printed silicon. Remembering which press goes to which item is not always the easiest. Just get your printed calculation circuits, get your logic press, which is gold, and your engineering press, which is diamonds. Now, something to know about the inscriber, it's quite annoying. You can only put 1 of each item in each slot at a time, but using extra utilities pipe or endite O pipes, you can constantly feed in materials. The top slot here is fed from the top, the bottom slot from the bottom, the side is always fed from the left hand side over here, and output from the right hand side or the back where the power is going in. You'll always need to power this machine. It doesn't hold its own power, it just draws power as it needs it. Now, once you get your circuits, if you get your redstone, printed silicon, logic, engineer, calculation, get all those, you can put them in your inscriber in such a fashion we have the silicon on the bottom, a circuit on the top, and redstone in the middle, and you'll make a processor. You can make logic processors, engineering processors, and calculation processors. Each one of them is useful. If you're going for simple stuff, you really need logic and calculation, but if you're going for higher stuff, you need engineering, which means you need a lot of diamonds. Now, to make the pure certus quartz crystals, you're going to need quartz seeds. You can make flux seeds, nether quartz seeds, and certus quartz seeds, all to make the crystals. Nether quartz crystals, pure nether quartz crystals, are only used as a way to duplicate your nether quartz, and they can be used in any vanilla and some modded recipes where nether quartz is needed as an alternative. Same with the flux seeds, they're just a replacement. Pure flux crystals are just used as a replacement for flux crystals, but also certus quartz is also a replacement for certus quartz, the regular kind, but also is used for the inscriber setup, so it's the only one that is genuinely needed. So if you take the seeds and dump them into a pool of water, just like before, they'll slowly over time turn into the pure. Now, normally these take a long time to change, but as you can see on each side I've got crystal growth accelerators. They act much like logs, where you can place them. They have different textures on each side, and it is this grated side that needs to be towards the crystals to enhance their speed and growth. Which way did I set this up? And here's the way to make all seeds. You get another quartz dust, which can be made in a pulverizer, a macerator, or the quartz grindstones we saw at the beginning, and sand. One dust and one sand will make two seeds. Same with the surface quartz dust and sand, and same with the flux dust and sand. The way to make a crystal growth accelerator is with 4 iron ingots, 1 fluix block, which is made of 4 fluid. Oh no, that's not it. Do I actually check? Nope. Which is just made of 4 fluix crystals. You'll need 2 quartz glass and 2 Me cables. Quartz glass is either nether quartz dust, certus quartz dust, or a mixture of the two in an X shape surrounded by glass in a diamond shape. This will give you 4 quartz glass, and Me glass cables are made with 2 fluix crystals and a quartz fibre. The quartz fibre is made of 6 glass and 3 nether quartz dust. That's how you make the crystal growth accelerators, and they have to be powered. Underneath here they're connected with glass fluix cables. As you see, they connect, and if you connect that to some sort of Me power source, oh, have I messed up here, then it will transfer power to the growth accelerators, and it will make crystals faster. There you go, you got your pure crystals. They take about 20 to 30 seconds with 5 growth accelerators, but by themselves they take 5 to 10 minutes to be 100% complete. And that's all that. Moving on to a basic Me setup. It's night time again. You'll simply just need an Me drive, an Me terminal, an energy acceptor, and some glass fluix cable. To put into your drive, you can get 1K Me storage, 4K Me storage, 16K Me storage, and 64K Me storage. If you put them in, as you see, it says 0 out of how many bytes used, and 0 out of 63 types. That means on each storage cell, you could have 63 types of items. So I could have dirt would be one item type, and then cobblestone would be another type, and so on. And you can have so many bytes used. The bytes work is if you have one item, the amount of bytes used is the total amount of bytes on the drive divided by 128 and then plus 1. Then each stack is the number you just have plus 7 for each stack upon that. To power the system, you can use EU and RF. I have not tried MJ because it's not in this. I cannot find it. It's in the pack, but it's probably there. I'm just a bit stupid. And as you see, energy slowly drains out of the ultimate solar panel. Goes in here, and everything's now turned on. And you see there's nothing in this machine, in the Me system. I put in 1 glass cable, and on the Me 1K Me storage cell, there's 1 type used and 9 bytes. If you get 1024 divided by 128 is 8, plus 1 is 9, and that's your first item. If I put the rest of the stack in, it should come out as 9 plus 7, which is 16, and I have 16 bytes used. But I need those EU. If I take out the cryo-stabilized fluid duct, flux duct even, the Me system turns off. I connect a EU glass fibre cable that transfers EU, and it turns back on from the ultimate hybrid solar panel. in this chest, I have a view cell, which I'll demonstrate at the end of the tutorial. So if you're interested in the view cell, sorry, you gotta either skip to the end or wait. Back here I've got all the crafting recipes for the different types of cell. So for the different stuff I need. For the drive even, you need 4 iron ingots, 2 ME glass cables, and 2 engineering processors. The engineering processors are made with 1 diamond circuit, a redstone, and a silicone circuit. For the energy acceptor, it's just 4 quartz glass, 1 flux crystal, and 4 iron. If you forget how to craft in this, just rewind the video a bit and it's all there. But you're not stupid, you know that. Now for the ME terminal, things get a bit confusing. You need a logic processor, which you know how to do. We need an illuminated glass panel, which we don't know, a formation core, and an annihilation core. For the illuminated panel, you simply need 1 iron ingot, 2 glowstone dust, 1 redstone dust, and 3 quartz glass. That gives you 3 illuminated panels. For the annihilation core, you need 1 nether quartz, or the pure nether quartz crystal, 1 flux dust, and a logic processor. For the formation core, you need 1 Certus quartz, or pure Certus quartz crystal, 1 flux dust, and 1 logic processor. Both these recipes give you 2 cores. And you can craft up your simple ME storage, and it's like a chest, but it can store hundreds and thousands of items. There is no limit on how much of one item you can store in an ME system, as long as you have enough drives and then enough of these storage cells. Moving on, you can have a ME security terminal, which is a bit more advanced than just the basic system, but it's quite handy to know as a basic thing. It can be connected to the system with glass flux cables. It's a bit of a weird interface. As you see here, a biometric card and a wireless terminal that says unlinked. Right. If I put the wireless terminal in up here in this slot, it'll come through and it'll say linked. If I open it, it's not opening. One moment. I apologise for that interruption, but I made a bit of a stupid mistake. To use the wireless terminal, once it's linked, you need a wireless access point, which I'll show you how to craft in a minute, along with the security terminal. That's a bit of a mix-up on my part. As you can see, it has a range of 60 meters. You can put in wireless boosters to extend the range, but I will not be showing that in this tutorial for the recipe, though each of the wireless booster card increases the range by 4 meters, which each meter is 1 block, so you can get quite a large range, so you can get a whole stack in there. Oh, I'll change me back to creative now. I thought it could make me survival. Oh, I'll just stay in creative. For this wireless terminal, you've also got this thing called a biometrics card. If you put the biometric card card in the biometric card editor slot, that's a mouthful. You can change the rules of the card, saying the user is allowed to deposit, user is allowed to withdraw, is allowed to craft, is allowed to build, is allowed to access and modify the security terminal. It says on here now they can deposit, withdraw, craft, build, and change security. What a biometric card does is if you right click on a player and then you put their card in this system, they will be allowed to access your system with all of the properties you've listed there. You cannot do a card for yourself. It will not let you put in a card for yourself if you are the administrator. To be the administrator, you have to be the one who places the terminal, connecting it to the system. So no matter what, as long as nobody breaks that terminal and replaces it, you will have authority over everyone in the system. You can take out their cards, you can put in cards, you can choose what rights everyone has, but giving someone security control means they can also give and take rights from other people. But if you see, if I shift right click on myself, biometric card -Martin4700, So you can do one for yourself, but it will not let me put it in the terminal, no matter what I do. If I had it for someone else, it would perfectly let me put them in there. It's on a server. It's very helpful for letting your friends use all your stuff, but you can also stop them using certain things. If you see one of the rights on here is craft, that's because the basic terminal here can be upgraded to a crafting terminal. You can craft it, but that will not be shown in this tutorial. That will be in a later tutorial. So if you look on the channel, you'll be able to find that quite easily, as long as it's up. To craft all this, you'll need first your security terminal, which is 4 iron ingots, easy, 2 glass cables, ME glass cables, 1 engineering processor, that shows quite expensive, a 16k ME storage component, which I'll show you to craft in a minute, along with the drives, and an ME chest. An ME chest is crafted with 2 glass panes, 2 ME glass cables, 1 flux crystal, 2 iron ingots, and a ME terminal, so that's quite expensive. And to make the wireless access point, you'll need a ME glass cable, which we know how to do, calculation processor, and a wireless receiver. The wireless receiver is made with a flux pearl, 3 iron ingots, and a quartz fiber. To make the flux pearl, it's not too expensive, unless you have no way of getting ender pearls easily. It's 4 flux dust, and then 4 flux crystals, which can be either pure or normal. It doesn't matter where you put them, you always get a flux pearl. And what combination you have. You have all just flux or all pure, either way, it still works. And as you can see with the wireless terminal, I can perfectly access my ME system and withdraw from it. And I can put into it, of course. But this wireless terminal cannot be upgraded to do crafting or anything else. It's just a normal basic terminal which you can take in and out. But I can do it from far away, and I can do it up close, so it's all good. It's a very helpful tool to have in this, with this mod. Moving on to crafting the drives. First we have the 1K drive. So to make the 1K ME storage component, you'll need 4 pieces of redstone, 4 Certus quartz crystals, and 1 logic processor. Then you'll need an ME storage housing, which is 3 redstone, 3 iron ingots, and 2 quartz glass. Then simply combine them in your shapeless crafting, and you'll get 1K ME storage cell. Then for the 4K, you'll need 3 1Ks, which doesn't make 1 sense because 3 times 1 is 3, not 4. A calculation processor, and quartz glass, 4 redstone even. Then you combine that in shapeless crafting with ME storage housing, you get your 4K. 16K is made with 3 4Ks, 4 glowstone, 1 quartz glass, and 1 engineering processor, and shapeless crafting again. And then for the 64K, it is 3 16K, 4 glowstone, 1 engineering processor, quartz glass, and again it's simply shapeless crafting. Do your ME storage housing and your ME storage component. Now there is another way of crafting your ME storage cells, which is where instead of making the storage housing, you do the shape for the storage housing and you put the storage component in the middle of that, and it will give you the storage cell. But I advise against doing that, because if you make it this way, once you have your storage cell, you can shift right click and split it into a storage housing and storage. Ooh. But if you do it this way, where you put it in the middle and take it out, if I shift right click, oh, that was left click. Oh, no, you can do it that way. Oh, well that's changed since last time, because last time I checked that didn't work. So you can do it either way, I suppose. Do that. You see I'm in creative mode. I wasn't supposed to be until now, but oh well. Okay, finally I'm going to show you the ME controller and ME channels. A simple wipe over them. The ME controller is where you can take different different cables from in all directions, and they won't touch. The reason you don't want them touching straight away is because if you see in the tooltip at the top, 0 out of 32 channels. Sorry about that. had a phone call to answer. Oh well. Anyway, at the top of the screen it says 0 out of 32 channels. A channel is any linked device to the cable. So your ME terminal would be one channel. Your ME drive, one channel. The energy acceptor doesn't take a channel, neither do the cables, but the wireless access point, that's a channel. The security terminal, that's a channel. So if you see on this glass fluix cable here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 channels taken on it. A glass fluix cable can only handle 8 channels before it can take any more and it will start turning off devices. Same with the smart cable, which actually tells you 0 of 8 channels. The ME covered cable can also only take 8 channels, but the ME dense cable can take 32 channels, which is extremely helpful. In the follow-up video to this, I'll show you how to use things called P2P tunnels, which can extend how many channels you have technically, and also quantum link rings and quantum link chambers, which can also expand how many channels you can have technically, as well as how to set up a controller for the most amount of channels as possible. As you see, the ME controller says 0 out of 16,000 RF. It actually has got power, as you can see, because it's glowing. If it didn't have power, it wouldn't be glowing, as seen here. That is just a normal block. And any surface on this controller can have cables coming out of it. One thing to note about the controller, if I take some of these controls here, is that you can only connect them in a certain pattern. But you can only have it connected on 3 faces to any other ME controller block. Which is here, this one's got 2 connections, this one's got 2 connections, and every block here has 2 connections. But if I was to put one in the middle, it would have 4 connections and it just wouldn't work. But if I remove one of the blocks, it has 3 connections and it works fine. Adding a block on... What? That should have turned it off. And that's not right. That's really not right. Anyway, that's probably a new update that I haven't seen, but if you have it on 4 two-dimensional sides, I assume then it doesn't work anymore. I don't know why that's been changed or in what way it's changed, but if you see here, this is what a turned off controller looks like, this is what a turned on controller looks like. For some reason my information is slightly out of date. To make the ME controller, it's 4 pure fluix crystals I believe you have to use, but I will check that quickly. Fluix crystals. Yes, it has to be pure crystals. That's the main usage for the pure crystals. And it also needs 4 skystone blocks. The recipe for a skystone block is smelting normal skystone. So unfortunately, having to do all that mining is actually worth it. We know how to make the ME glass cable. If you put any type of wool with that, it will make a ME covered cable. 4 ME covered cables, plus 1 redstone and 1 glowstone in either order. Though I think, no, it is shapeless crafting entirely. You can make a ME dense cable, or if you have a normal covered cable with 1 redstone and 1 glowstone, you make a smart cable, which is the one that tells you how many channels are used, which are quite helpful to put periodically through a normal 8-channel cable, so you can see how many channels are being used at each point, or as soon as it splits from the dense cable. For example, if I was to bring this dense cable out here, I was going to take off a side part, I would do it in this fashion, or maybe I use a covered because it actually looks better, where I have my smart here so I can see how many channels are being used, and then I have my not smart, which doesn't tell me anything, but it's a lot cheaper. And that's really everything for the simplistic parts of Applied Energistics 2. It's quite different from Applied Energistics 1, I'm sure you can tell if you've used that mod and not this mod, as you've got channels to worry about now, which are really flipping annoying, as well as crystals and inscriber setups and everything. But it is a very easy mod to wrap your head around with the simplistic parts. once you get into the more advanced sections, things get a bit convoluted. I thank you for watching. I hope you liked the video. If you did, give it a like, because then I actually know, depending if anyone's actually watching this. It'd be good to hear any feedback in the comments on what did well, what didn't do well, and any questions you may have about Applied Energistics too. So, I'll see you.